everybody. I'm Matthew Charles Heulitt, and this is our guitar DVD called The Complete Guitarist. And we're going to be talking about several different elements, mostly rhythm guitar, time, chords, and leads. And from all that stuff, you should be able to play some amazingly intricate and connected and soulful lines on the guitar, as well as being a great rhythm guitarist. We're going to start by talking about rhythm guitar and some of the basic elements and things that I've come across in the last 20 years of teaching that are kind of like, whoa, I never thought about that, or just things that I've come across never get taught and are really missing from what we need as guitar players. The first thing we want to discuss is how to create time when you're playing basic chords. And in this first part, we're just going to be using basic open chords. I'm not going to do anything fancy. Open chords meaning open strings, first position, D chords, G chords, E minor, whatever it is. You know, your basic kind of cowboy chords, pop stuff. And we want you to have great time. I want you to have great time because I don't like listening to guitar players that don't have good time. So this is your right hand, this is your timekeeper. And basically, it has two directions you can go. You can go down and up. And obviously, we're not going to go this direction. That doesn't exist. So the first thing we want to do, actually, is establish what our time is. So I like to use a metronome, and I'm going to talk about that kind of a lot through these DVDs, because it's something that basically sets you, it creates a boundary for you. Because when you play with other people, when you play with music, when you play along with songs on the radio, or if you want to jam with somebody, you have to have good time, and you have to be able to listen to something else that's going on while you're playing. So that's what the metronome does. It creates that, kind of gets that circuitry going in your brain to be able to listen to something. So let me start with something very basic. I'm just going to play a C chord, and the idea here, let me stop this for a second. The idea here is to be able to go in time with your right hand exactly with the metronome. So let's just do that for a second. Super easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think you can manage that. So, but the thing to understand is that as we get into more advanced stuff, that element is never going to change. So let me give you an example, sort of where that's going to go. Okay? So I want you to notice that my hand never stopped moving the entire time. And with the metronome, I basically stayed with this. And there's two different elements that we'll talk about. There's one where I'm just doing quarter notes, okay? And then I can double that up and do eighth notes. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So quarter notes, 2, 3, 4, are just going to give you quarter notes, but then you also have the upward direction. So you can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and every possible variation within that. So the thing that, the first thing you want to get is just being able to switch back and forth, being able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So that right there is something to practice, and you might find that right away that's challenging. And it shouldn't be. It sounds really easy. It seems like something pretty manageable, but it's actually surprisingly challenging for a lot of people. So when you practice something, this is where you get totally, you're allowed to be completely obsessive compulsive. So turn on your metronome and just sit and get used to staying in time with that, keeping your arm moving, and that becomes muscle memory. And when you get into that vibe and that gets happening,